Hello, hello. Amuse, welcome back. We're going to be reading, watching, listening to Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York. Oh, no. Oh my god, we've moved on to a whole different game. I'm sorry. Coteries of New York. So, I do believe that this game is the predecessor to the last one that I bought. But it was super fun, and I enjoyed it a ton. So, I am very excited to play this one. So, double checking. It's definitely. Oh, thanks for the host, Luminator. How do I sound? Is it too loud? Music too loud? How's it doing? Awesome. My camera seems a little laggy. I don't know why that is. We're not doing anything super strenuous over here. Yeah, my frames are good, but the camera's just like doing too much. We're gonna try to turn it off and turn it back on again. Technical difficulties and all that. Oh, shit. I definitely gotta fucking work. I just dropped it. Oh, I'm so glad that the audio is on. This is hilarious for everyone. It's a good time had by all. I mean, I don't know at this stage. We're doing it live. I mean, probably not really live because I know it's not muted. You're the only one here right now. It's okay. Let's see here. I can fix it. I don't know how to fix it. Oh, it hates that. Okay. Doing the thing. Hopefully that's better. Fingers crossed. You're on the mood, lady. Alrighty. Awesome. Thanks for the heads up. So, here we go. Starting a brand new one. Ooh. We got choices. So, first clan choice is Bruja. The rabble rebel against power and rage against authority. Turn the music down or your mic up. You're low def. How's this? If I actually put the mic up to my face, is that better? Awesome. This is why I need like a mounted mic so that like I can come to it. Because this one, as soon as I move it away from my face, we're done. Okay. Our Bruja choice, our Anarch choice is the Rabble, rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. Or I have a Ventru option. The aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. Ooh, corporate bad bitch. Or I have a Toreador choice. The divas seek the thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst a stagnant death. A tormented artist will join their ranks tonight. Um, we're definitely going bad bitch Ventru on on this playthrough. Ventru is again. I might be partial because that was one of the other clans that I have played in my LARPing past. So we're gonna go Ventru. Name is Mostaf Muse. All right. We're gonna pop over here because I am blocking the view. So let's see if I can make the view a little better. There we go. All right, let's see here. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit, that we're all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered. Oh, I gotta. Sorry, y'all. We gotta change some settings. There we go. So we're scrolling through it. Alright. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate, you decide. Dramatic pause. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all: money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a ninth generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all that they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, a message saying, you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. Oh, thank you so much, Loon. Appreciate you. You might have wondered how I learned about your arrival to JFK. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the past 15 years, was it? You're never eager to inform me that you're here. I understand that you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much. Don't get me wrong. This shady motherfucker needs to come on over here and let's chat because I do not feel safe. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well and without attracting attention. Got a job to do, we got a task to do. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. What you asking me to do? You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities. But in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. I'm very excited. This is my first playthrough of this one. Ooh. Is this my office? Because it is fire. Alright. My phone rings. It's my boss again. I'm glad you like being here. I like having you here. I know you have other things that you could be doing. Oh, hi! How are you? What are you up to? The setting sun that filled your high-rise office an hour ago is gone. The city looks like an ocean of light from up here, spreading for miles to the north. Ooh. Did you get any good loot from your raid? I'm a fan of my office. I really like this rain effect we got going on. I pick up the phone for the boss. You were about to call it a day. Forget about the world of fintech and decompress at home. No dice. The boss says one of the investors wants to meet me. His voice, as always, the perfect mix of authority and sleaze. He'll come by your office in an hour. I look at the clock. An hour? He's gotta be fucking kidding. Yeah, I know, but stick around. He's a heavyweight. You'll want to make a good impression. Fine. I grit my teeth a little. The boss hangs up. 2 hours. Might as well pour another coffee into yourself and figure out how to best use this to the advantage of us. I suspect everyone knows that no, you're actually not happy. Oh, I hate the tense of this. You. You suspect everyone knows that no, you're not actually happy with your current position, that in fact you feel squished against the glass ceiling that comes with the territory. Oh, we're a middle manager. Got it. A middle manager of a vampire tech business. That sounds like a very stressful on death. Sure, your idiot superior might have gotten the job only because he's the CEO's golfing buddy, but you're going to put an unholy amount of work into your advancement. Yay! It works! That surprised me so much. I'm so excited. It's my first time trying to put any bits into my my stream. So I hope people use the sound alerts. And there's an 8 ball, but I don't know how to make it work. Don't know. I thought the 8 ball was a fun idea. Yeah. It doesn't. Does it show anything up for you, Loom? Because it doesn't give me any. I'm gonna probably have to read the wiki about it, but it didn't give me like any instructions on how to set it up. Oh darn. Times were that I'd laugh off the idea of staying at the office until 9 p.m. I had a partner to go home to, the nightly Netflix and chill ritual to perform, complete with pizza or Chinese takeout. Ever since I moved up the ladder, though, my hours have only gotten longer. Food, mostly at the company cafeteria, sometimes takeout, always in a rush. I praise the heavens for my crazy metabolism and dread the day that it finally decides to give up. Rest? At this point, the cleaning lady who takes care of my apartment probably spends more time in my bedroom than I do. I flash back to my boss quoting Shakespeare to impress his new, extremely attractive and uncomfortably young secretary. For some must watch while some must sleep. So runs the world away. And yes, it is a visual novel, and it is available on Steam. Um, it's the series Vampire the Masquerade, which is also a tabletop role playing game and a live action role playing game. And I, back in my youth, used to LARP, and So once I found these visual novels, I thought it would be fun to share my playthroughs with others.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Um, yes, actually, my first Vampire the Masquerade book, for the tabletop, I bought at 14 at my local game store, and I read it from cover to cover, but I was a very lonely child, and I did not have anyone to play with. Um, so yeah, I loved it for a long time, this property. So, um, yeah, and this is a fresh run. I'm only about maybe 10, 15 minutes into it. This particular game, you actually got to choose which clan you were. Last time, your only choice was as a Lasombra, which is my fucking favorite. Um, so that was pretty cool. But this time, you had three choices. You had Bruja, Ventru, and Toreador. And I chose the Ventru because she looked like a boss bitch. So I'm very excited. And now we are in her office. Yeah, her office. And she is waiting on, I'm pretty sure, uh, the person that is about to turn her. If I'm right, because she's still talking about eating. So I think that we're about to get got. And so all of my colleagues hate me. Another flashback. This time, it's to the most profitable quarter in the company's history. Still, the board decided that layoffs were in order. Your boss didn't feel like letting people know in person, so he passed that privilege on to you. Cool. Middle management is awful. Gotta hand it to him. He always knew how to pick his battles. But maybe, just maybe, tonight's the night it's all gonna change. I feel like that's the truth. You decide to play the good looks angle. Nothing too slutty. You leave your blouse slightly unbuttoned. Check if your ass looks good. As you remember that you were in your pencil skirt, the mirror says yes. It's not something that I'm particularly proud of, but I've become too jaded to care. Knowing my luck, the investor is going to be one of two types: a self obsessed Musk wannabe in his 20s, or a fat old pervert drenched in cologne. I hear the elevator ding. Time to get this show on the road. You take one, or I hate the tense. I just wish it would say I. I take one final look in the mirror, and I fix my hair as the footsteps echo across the empty hallway. The man who approaches the office is not what was expected. He's slick to be sure, but he seems a bit more refined than your usual company man. Expensive suit, matching tie and shirt, confident in his stride, surprisingly good looking. I don't think they did a very good job with this painting. If he's supposed to be surprisingly good looking. Ah, Mystery Man says, "Good evening. I hope this unforeseen visit isn't too much of an inconvenience." Oh, is he okay? He has a sore throat, so poor baby. God, that voice. You're taken aback by how smooth and strong it is, and his eyes, steel blue, cold, intense. He's all business. Professional. Treats you in a manner that's appropriate to your stature. When he speaks, he actually looks you in the eye and not at your cleavage. Oh, yeah, hopefully he can just relax.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, we in danger. He asks some questions about the work, tells you how he noticed your input after talking to the CEO, another golfing buddy, and comes charmingly close to calling your boss an incompetent doofus. All the while, you try to guess his accent but can't quite place it. European? Sure. But where from? That in danger, I feel, is appropriate for the entire span of this conversation because the danger level is only increasing. Oh, now he's doing the asking out. I know I've kept you long enough, but would you indulge me and join me for a drink? I feel like this is a bad idea, but we're gonna do it anyway. Of course. For a minute there, it seemed like he wasn't that kind of guy. But what the hell? I go with it. He seems nice enough. Besides, it's not like we have any other plans. Oh, dude had a limo waiting downstairs. Driver takes us to a high-end restaurant in Williamsburg. A seat is waiting for us in the deluxe lounge. Just the two of us. First off, I want some rich old dude to take me to this bar. Like, that looks nice. I mean, if I'm gonna get murked. We talk about this and that. He seems to have a knack for history. So, tell me, what would you do if you had full control of the company? I almost choke on my wine. This is my chance. You say what's been on your mind for months. I guess I'm just going to have to go with you because I keep fucking it up. But hide it behind a veneer of professional corpo babble. Refocusing, listening to your instincts for once, restructuring, kicking out your boss, aggressively pursuing new markets, getting the hell away from all of these horrible people. He likes the sound of that. He leans forward. His eyes flash with intensity and something else. A strange emotion that wasn't there before. You'll do just fine. His words echo inside your head as you black out. You know, like any good roofie. Also, I just want to show everybody my my chibi Jason wine glass. You wake up. God only knows how much later. As you try to piece together what happened, you died. You hear a familiar voice, the investor, or whoever the hell he is, talking to someone. You suddenly recall snippets, fragmented memories. His sapphire eyes intently locked with yours, his teeth suddenly longer and sharper. And something else, a feeling on your neck that takes you back to your last orgasm. A company trip to Florida, a sweaty room, the cutie from HR who doesn't work there anymore, and then darkness. Yes, I'm done here. Consider my debt paid. The investor pushes the other figure aside and walks
Run,
away.
bitch! Run!
It's too late now. We dead. The investor pushes the other figure aside and walks away from the lounge, barely bothering to look at you. The door locks behind him. That's ominous. Hmm. That's why you can't fuck the dudes in HR. Get them in trouble, everybody gets fired. It's a problem. Some time passes before you find the strength to get up from the couch. You touch your lips. Blood. Did that asshole hit you? Did he hit you? No. You try to stand up, but your head is pounding, and your stomach is like a heavy knot pulling you down. You didn't have that much to drink. He must have spiked your wine. Oh, this is bad. You frantically check your clothes. Pristine. Doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, a feeling hits you, unlike anything else you've ever felt before. You fall to the floor, writhing in all encompassing pain and hunger. The kind that makes your insides burn. That can be denied. Try to calm yourself down with a breathing exercise they taught you at some bullshit mindfulness course. That's when it hits you. You're not breathing. And holy shit, your heart should be jumping out of your chest with that realization. But it's not moving. Not even a beat. Oh, I'm so glad the 8 ball works. I'm sorry that she a bitch. But I mean, look whose channel you're at. My 8 ball is not gonna be friendly either, I guess. We're all moody, big titty goth GFs in here. The door unlocks. You hear a startled voice. A young man in a waiter's outfit, his accent thick with an Eastern European harshness, leans over and asks if you're alright. For a brief moment, you wonder what in the hell he's doing here. Everything is wrong. And then his smell reaches your nostrils. It's intoxicating. And then everything feels right again. He holds out his arm to help you stand up. You grab it firmly with both hands, and then you bite down. You sink your teeth right next to the old school pinup tattoo of Rita Hayworth on his forearm. Impeccable taste, sir. Impeccable taste. Takes you a moment to process what you're doing. A part of you wants to break away, but a stronger voice implores you to keep drinking. One thing becomes clear. You are definitely enjoying this. He only struggles a little and quickly falls to his knees. You can see his eyes now, pale blue and confused. You only bring yourself to let him go once he collapses onto the floor. Your bite leaves a mess of his forearm. Poor Rita, all bloodied, missing half her face. Did you? Did you just drink this guy's blood? Oh man. He did, Jim. He did. Stream Kitty wants to be involved. The void has come to us. Spitting out some torn flesh. That's a why. Where? What was that? Was that in the fucking wine? Barely able to focus. Your heart and your lungs still motionless. You reach for your phone and dial 911. 911 operator, what's your emergency? My options are my heart stopped. I can't breathe. I killed somebody. We're not. No, we're not letting the cat out the bag like that. What the fuck? If we gotta do this, I can't breathe. Ma'am, where are you right now? The door to the lounge swings open. The man who enters is not the one that brought you here, though there are similarities. He's tall for one, broad-shouldered, handsome, dressed in an immaculate suit, but his skin is darker, and the look on his face tells you that he is not here to negotiate a deal. He notices a smartphone in your hand. Oh, it's Kadir! I already know who he is. Pass me the phone if you want to live. The man's voice is persuasive, calm, but carrying clear threat. He's got the aura of a viciously efficient corporate shark. Find it hard to argue with him. Ma'am, hello? The operator says. I apologize for wasting your time. My new colleague got drunk and is now trying to impress everyone with her antics. Good night. He disconnects the call and places your phone in his pocket. Yeah, he's keeping that shit. For whatever reason, you can barely take your eyes off the stranger. As hypnotizing as his presence is, though, it is also highly discomforting. Good evening, miss. I am here to pick you up. Um, my choices are who are you? Pick me up. Call an ambulance. I don't give a single fuck about that dude. Um, who are you? So we can introduce him for everybody else. Who are you? Muse asks. I am your guide through this perilous night. The stranger approaches the waiter and examines his body. Critical condition, but he might live. Anyway, he then sets his sights on you. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you, and going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there are the smart ones who can carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given the speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. That's my one true weakness. One that inspired me to come up with a three-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times, and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes, and you're out. Say, I understand, sir. Now. Yes, Daddy. Every atom of your being screams for you to obey his authority. We gon' do it because Kadir is Bay. I understand, sir. Stick to that tone, and you'll do just fine. Moving on. Is there anyone you'd want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're all right. I'm glad we're of the same mind, Loom, cause I love, I love Kadir. Oh my goodness, he was a big part of the last one that I played through, and he is awesome. So I hope that uh, we get to see him a bit this game, other than just through the initial part here. He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason, the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Someone closest to you? He asks. So my choices are my boss. There's no one. Sad face. Or I'd rather not answer. That's cagey for no reason. They already know all about us. My boss sounds sad, but so does there's no one. Alright, boss. My boss, I suppose, I say. The stranger squints at me. Forgive me, but am I to assume your relationship is more than professional? Oh, scandalous. I immediately give him a piercing glare. No, God, no. Me and that pig? Don't be ridiculous. Ugh. But you said he was the closest person to you. I say, you asked me if I have anyone I'd like to tell I'm all right. The answer is yes. People at my office. I don't want to lose my job, so I'd prefer to let them know I didn't just go off on a bender. No family, no lover, no friends. Pretty sure this is the first time anyone's ever said their boss. The blank stare on my face tells him the whole story. He immediately stops prying and gives something worse than a look of pity, a look of honest compassion. Yikes. Well, that may. Oh my god, that dun 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 scared the shit out of me every time. It's so loud. Well, that makes things simpler. But let me be crystal clear. Just in case, he says. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure that these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know that you are still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they will know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. practiced tone again. You put on the poker face and listen in silence. So, unless you want your boss to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. Oh, don't tempt me, I say. He smiles, revealing his fangs again. There's something absolutely sickening about it. Suddenly, I feel overwhelmed by a sense of exhaustion. I pass out. I remember this place. Got it. This one, it's the same club as in Shadows of New York. Just didn't see the back room the last time. When I regain my senses, I find myself in the stranger's arms. The man is holding me as he would a spouse who's had a little too much to drink. I try to break free, but he holds me close and gives me a cautioning look. Only when I cease struggling does he let me go. Only now do I notice the change in scenery. I find myself in a fancy lobby, right next to the elevator. The place is virtually empty, save for a single concierge and some cleaning staff. My companion gestures to the concierge as we pass, and he picks up the phone. The elevator arrives, the door opens, and the man motions towards the cabin. After you, he says. Choices are, I'm gonna scream, I'm not going anywhere, and where are we going? Which seems like the most practical choice, so that's what we're gonna pick. And where are we going? I ask. To a safe place. That's all you need to know, he says. Trust me, you don't want to make this difficult. Just get in. Choices are call for help, demand to be let go, step inside the elevator. There ain't nowhere to go. We get in this elevator. Going against my instincts, I enter the cabin. Smooth jazz is playing over the speakers as the elevator starts its descent. I'm dazed, panicky, but somehow locked in place. On the one hand, I find the stranger's presence oddly soothing. On the other, I can feel my body tensing up with the stress. I can't help but to think back to the young waiter, the doe-eyed look on his face, the confused look he gave just before. No, it's better not to think about it. Plus, I have other things to worry about, like the fact that I'm being kidnapped. The cabin door opens up to the same garage I arrived in with the investor some hours ago. The man shows me a black Cadillac Escalade. I know what you're thinking. Getting into the car with some strange man, boy, sure seems like a dumb idea. Maybe I could make a run for it. Might be able to lose him. So, let me be perfectly clear. Your best bet is to get in, relax, and enjoy the ride. Options are, there's so many more options. I like this. The waiter, what do you want? I have money. He doesn't want money. He ain't gonna tell us. So, you can ask about the waiter. Though, I don't think he's going to be very sympathetic, even though he is Bay. I ask, do you think that waiter upstairs is he going to be all right? Yes. That's like what you tell your fucking kids when their pet dies. And you're just like, yeah, the dog went to live on a farm. Like, I look him in the eyes and I can immediately tell he's lying. No more questions. Get in the car, please. At least he said, please. Get in the fucking car. We're not running for it. Seems like the worst idea ever. But the man's made it very clear that I don't have a choice in the matter. Choices are, what's your name, handsome? I've got friends. No, the fuck we don't. Are you gonna hurt me? He ain't. Can I at least know your name? I ask. You'll know it when the time is right, he says. Cagey bastard. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Listen, you really need to quit stalling. We're on a bit of a schedule here. The sun comes up in about 2 hours, and I don't intend to be here when it does. Choices are the sun, schedule. What is this about? Go with schedule, cause where we going? Who bees with? Schedule? What schedule? I ask. The kind that keeps you alive to see another night, he says. He opens the car door and gestures towards it. I see no point in delaying the inevitable, so I get in. The door locks behind me. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem lightproof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without another word. So, choices are, how am I alive? Is this a joke? Did I die? I think the most obvious question is, how am I alive? How am I alive? My heart, it's not beating. Aren't you in big business? What do you need a heart for, anyway? Listen, I realize you have many questions. Tomorrow, you will get some answers. But tonight, you need to do what I say. And right now, I need some quiet, please. I feel too confused to protest. I stay silent for the rest of the ride, even as more questions bubble up to the surface, one of them being, did I actually kill somebody? Yes. Staring out of the window, I find it hard to focus and quickly lose track of where we're headed. I can only tell that we haven't left Manhattan. Another underground parking, almost featureless, empty. The car stops, and he opens up the door for me. We're here. He walks me to a nearby door. He opens it and motions for me to get in. Go on in, make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow, and you'll get answers. Behind the door is a small room. No windows, just a simple bed and a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling AC fan on the wall. Choices are, you're leaving me here? That's not happening. And where are you going? Uh, I think we're gonna have to go with you're leaving me here? Just in a closet in a parking garage. That's it? You're just gonna leave me here? That's it. For now, at least. Look, this room is your best chance of seeing another night. I realize that you've been put in a problematic situation, and it's not entirely your fault. Cooperate, and you still might make it. You will learn more tomorrow, but for the time being, get in and get cozy. He gestures inside the room. I'm getting in. Oh, that is a dank looking closet. He nods. Good night. He locks me in. It looks very sturdy. I open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag in there, filled with red liquid with no label. Tomato soup? I feel sick to my stomach. Best to leave it for now. I lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. At least it's not too filthy. I think back to how this evening began. This investor. Is he friends with the dark skinned stranger who picked us up from the restaurant? What happens now? Unable to relax, I spend an hour or so playing out various scenarios in my head. Eventually, I decide to give up and let exhaustion take over. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'd rather face it well rested. Plus, there's no way in hell that my boss isn't going to notice that I'm gone, and and maybe some of the restaurant staff will feel a pang of conscience. Someone will notify the police. Someone will find me, right? I flash back to the waiter's tattoo, the bloody Rita Hayworth, winking at me over a pale mess of a wound.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
I did this. I bit him. I drank his blood. And oh, it tasted good. What if I can never go home again? I'm so tired. My entire body tenses up one last time, and before I know it, I drift away into oblivion. I wake up. That, in itself, is a surprise. I barely remember when I drifted off. Didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. I imagine that's what death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on. The AC is still rattling. The refrigerator's still humming. I take a look at my watch. It's almost 9. Slept for 17 hours straight? Maybe I died. My breath is gone. I feel no thumping in my chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? I'm not sure, but I am certain about one thing. I'm hungry. But it's not my stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere deep in my abdomen and spreads to my chest, throat, and the back of my head. I open the fridge. The bag is still there. I take a closer look at it. If it's soup, then its color and texture are off. I pull the cork out, take a whiff. I recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint. And I remember some situations in the past where I found it nauseating, but now it's almost, no, not almost, it is enticing. I could put it back, or I could drink it. We're going to drink it. We're real hungry. Feels wrong, but right now, there's barely anything in my life that doesn't. To hell with it. I pour a bit of the liquid into my mouth. It tastes like shit. It's coppery thick, and it clings to my tongue and the insides of my mouth like a film of dirt. I swallow hard regardless. Taste is foul, but somehow I kind of want more. As I take a second sip, sucking the blood out of the bag, I feel something pull on my insides. I double over. I'm gonna barf. I instinctively cover my mouth, looking for a place to vomit, but before I find it, a dark red wave washes over my hands and fingers. It hits the floor, splattering in huge, thick drops. I keep heaving for a moment longer. Nothing's coming. Not blood, not bile, not even spit. But still, something in my body wants to push it out, push it all out. Every last drop. As I recover, trying to wipe droplets of regurgitated blood from my dress, I hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger that I met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So like a tamed hawk, maybe. Good evening. How was... He trails off. He notices the spatter, my red hand, the sick look on my face. He barely contains a smirk. Oh, was the catering unable to satisfy your exquisite taste? Apologies. So, choices are offer him a drink. Was that really blood? That was foul. Uh, I'm gonna offer him some, cause dude, this shit's gross. You want some? I say, you can't tell me that you can drink this. He takes the bag off my hands and pours all of its contents into his mouth. He closes his eyes, theatrically savoring the taste. When he opens them a few seconds later, he looks sharper, energized. Not all of us are picky eaters. Come on, we've got places to be. I should have some water and a towel in the back of the car so you can clean yourself up. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside of the door of the cramped room that I spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, but with a stern look on his face. Choices are to rush him, get inside the car, hijack the car. Whew, the fuck? Absolutely not. We're gonna get inside. We're gonna be a good girl right now. We're just gonna get in the car. It's not like I have a choice, right? I say, as I get in the car. Correct, he says. But your cooperation is appreciated, nevertheless. I take the back seat again. The doors lock. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. We drive in silence for a while. From time to time, I keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. I check the door handle. Yeah, it's locked all right. The piece of dark glass separating me and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. I didn't have time to think about it before, but I realize now that I'm hungry. No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs my attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in my abdomen, spreads into my chest and my throat and the back of my head. I become restless. This is essentially a kidnapping. Whatever this guy says about its purpose, it doesn't change the fact that I'm being held against my will, and I'm not used to following orders when I can't delegate them to someone else. I feel a need to get a semblance of control over the situation. So, I decide to prove myself useful. Choices are, I know people in high places. I have a worthwhile skill set. I can get you a lot of money. Worthwhile skill set. Skills are useful. Listen, I'm an investment advisor, and I have a lot of experience in fintech. Whatever your organization is, it might find a use for me. I'm only quick because these are the choices that I definitely think that aren't really progressing the story too much. When we get to bigger, more important choices, I will definitely be asking and waiting more for the chat's input on what we're doing, because I want this experience to be fun for y'all as well. So I only make Alright. I'm so glad that you're having fun with the sound alerts. It amuses me so much. Thank you so much. Well, I gotta take my one and only moderator's input sometimes. Let's see. Da, 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 da. All right. Yes, and then I'll have channel points. And then I'll be able to, because there are some that are super interactive, so then I'll be able to give people more choices. He says, I don't even have any idea what fintech is, and honestly, I don't care to find out. A short pause. I'll be frank. Currently, you're in no position to offer anybody anything, and the sooner that you accept that, the better. So, this sassy bitch's choices are to curse him out, call him a nobody, which he's the motherfucking sheriff, so we aren't gonna do that, because that'll just get on his bad side, and so the prior knowledge here helps me a little bit. Ridicule his lack of ambition. So I think we're just gonna cuss him the fuck out. Whoo, pig-headed fuckboy is what I call him. Ho ho ho. Oh, oh yeah, Chris did ban you from talking that one day. Well, that would be useful for other things, but this would be like real difficult to do without talking. Just have to like mime it to you. It would be cool if I knew American Sign Language so I could improvise. Hey, he says, language. He doesn't like cussing. Oh, it was during Among Us. Oh, that's rough. But at least you can pick from the click wheel and still accuse the shit out of people. Just being sus. I had so much fun playing Among Us. A short pause. He actually looks insulted. Oh. He says, your attitude won't help you make any friends, and in your current position, you definitely need some. Consider that, preferably in silence. That dull hunger strikes again. The powerlessness hurts. I'm used to people listening to me, or pretending to care about my demands at least. The driver doesn't play that game, and it annoys me to no end. It takes us another 20 or so minutes to get to our destination. As the door opens, I try to get my bearings. I'm still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe? After me. No sudden movements, please. We approach a nice-looking building that houses a two-story gallery called the Art Hole. Oh, welcome back to the Art Hole. This is the center of all the Camarilla business. It's Elysium. So it is the safe place, quote unquote, safe place. It is an unsafe place, but it's supposed to be the place of neutrality, um, where everyone can come, kind of like a public house sort of thing. Two large men in suits flank the door on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as we approach. Prompted by the stranger guiding me, I walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 2 dozen faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed, for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at me and the stranger who brought me here. Their glances are varied. I see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe me, as if wishing to appraise my worth. This reminds me of company meetings. Me, the only woman in the room, silently judged, not on her merits, but her standing on the list, passed in clandestine email threads between my male coworkers. Until HR found out, that is. I wonder if it was old dude in HR that we shebang a banged in the backstory. Not the most pleasant experience, but there's no denying that it taught me resilience. When others would cower, I straighten up. When others turn their gaze, I meet the eyes of the gallery's guests with confidence. The woman. uh, Good evening, Kadir. And to you, child. The noble, cold voice takes me out of my head and back to the situation at hand, the gallery, a crowd of strangers. I was brought here against my will. For what purpose? The room now awaits my response. Choices are good evening, miss. Excuse me, what? What is this about? So, the woman is the prince of the city. So, this response could be very important. Um, so, she gave me Kadir's name. So, now would probably be a good time to ask her hers. And be polite and respectful and hopefully not get murked. Good evening, miss. I trail off, waiting for her to respond. Kadir says, you are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helene Panhard, child of Michaela. Thank you, my sheriff, Prince Panhard says, but I am capable of introducing myself. She is somewhat plain looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still, the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people. That much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction to unlife was abrupt, and I understand that your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. So, choices are I don't understand, remain silent, embrace. Is that a euphemism? Clearly, it's a fucking euphemism. Uh, we gonna keep the shutting the fucks up because I'm sure it's not gonna be just a spanking. I decide it's best to stay silent and listen to the whole situation unfold. Feels like I'm a little out of my depth here. I know you'd be sassy, and you would get us killed. Because I can get killed right here. So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to avoid that. At least until the second stream. Shall we begin? She says. You are about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Shit. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe shit? Is that? A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. A reservation made in the private lounge of the patrician suggests that this one's sire had plenty of resources to spend. However, they are apparently also well connected. I lost track of them, he says reluctantly. Despite some reservations, she offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force her compliance, he goes on. Opening the door to the safe house tonight, I was greeted by a most disturbing sight of her drenched in regurgitated blood. Apparently, the bag supply we kept in the fridge was not to her liking. Fuck. Oh, this is only gonna get worse because he doesn't like me very much at the moment. The remark elicits a contemptuous chuckle from one of the gathered guests as they note the remains of the blood on my skirt. It was not an elegant sight, but that hardly matters, I suppose. Moving on. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post haste, I urged her to join me, which she did without struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. During our drive here, she showed me her fangs, metaphorically speaking, posturing as if we were equals, insulting me when it didn't work. I refrained from causing her physical harm, but I expect her ego might still be a bit bruised. He looks at me and flashes a nasty smile. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on me again. I take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attentions to me. First, there is the matter of your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? So, choices are sire, we already know what that means. We're smart, we picked it up. Does it matter? Fucking obviously it does. Handsome businessman. I think handsome businessman is the only choice we have here. And an entrepreneur, acquaintance of my boss, I think. Good looking, pale blue eyes, and some gray in his hair. Charming, abusive, cold son of a bitch, I say. I feel tired and angry. This whole situation, spending the day in some underground parking lot, having to bear the looks of a room full of strangers. It's almost too much to take in stride. Thank you. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. Yeah, I'm gonna try not to get eaten anymore. We'll see. There's no reason I should take it all in stride. But I do, because if there's one thing your professional career has taught you, it's that. All because of that asshole, whoever he was. He never even gave me his name or a card. Nothing. Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? The prince asks. No, it does not. Or at least, not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. So I have the options of, can I go now? What happens now? And he talked to somebody at the restaurant. I don't know this man shit. So I'm about to narc on him because I'm the one here about to get my ass whooped. Or worse. That man, he talked to someone at the restaurant before he left. I can't remember what he said, but he wasn't alone. Maybe that's a lead you can follow. Did he now? That's interesting. I do hope the proprietor won't stay mad at us for losing one of his staff. It's almost like he knows that the waiter's fate is still bothering me and takes pleasure in pointing it out. Thank you for that observation, he says. I will investigate it later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? He asks. What is your recommendation, my sheriff? She responds. Their traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, then both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty, says. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure that everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom, and a handful of people follow her out. I'm about to ask Kadir what this is all about, what all the talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of us. Sophie, Kadir says. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? He says. She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stains your hands tonight after all. Her words grab his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and I am left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes me aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow us. Well then, fledgling, you're in quite the pickle. Choices are, what do you mean? What was that about a sword? Maybe you'll tell me what the hell this is. We're gonna go with the third option. Tell me you're here to explain what the hell is going on, I say. I am, Sophie says. Let me cut straight to the point. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, she says. I am well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains that beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. I glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at me, commenting on me in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. I'm trying to come up with something sensible to say, but I'm drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. I drank blood last night. There's no denying it. And my breathing hasn't returned, and my heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in my head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes any sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" on repeat. You're surprised. This is how it often plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down, as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, but under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and Kadir's complaints about your behavior won't influence her judgment. This society values docility. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure that you face the consequences. Choices are, what happens if I agree? What happens if I refuse? And how will you convince the prince? So, Loom, you got any thoughts? Chat in general, any thoughts? You're saying the prince might have other plans for me. What will you offer to convince her? I ask. You'll see it yourself, hopefully. Know this. There are certain traditions and history of our society in the city that I can tap into. My word might not carry that much weight, but it is not easily ignored either, she says. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side of the room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well, and starts walking towards me. She says, "When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition." She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. My mute button is off. Can you hear me now? Cool. sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to me and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight, I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. Their behavior since being embraced has been disagreeable, and that does not bode well for them becoming a valuable member of our society. You are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. As our trusted sheriff pointed out, there can only be one course of action. Although I acknowledge some of my counsel's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a somewhat plainly dressed, shy-looking man, whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is the progeny that shall be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautifully detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes me freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but me. As his eyes meet mine, I note just a hint of sadness in his face. One that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. I will not get another chance to speak up. Asking for mercy, just like I was told to. I make my choice. Spare me, please. Oh, don't make me beg, God damn it. Sophie speaks up. Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above me, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? The prince asks. Yes, if I may, Sophie says. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at me with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now. But Kadir's heavy hand on my shoulder makes it clear that I won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. And I understand that you are volunteering to take this unruly child under your protection, she says. Yes, I am willing to give them a chance and prove to the entire domain that they can adhere to our expectations. I will take nothing less than their full cooperation. Naturally. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two, a hushed, just behead the fucker, some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence, the prince says. I ask all of you to make note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Choices are remain silent, give me a chance to prove myself. This wasn't part of the deal. That's we're not going there. So I think we're gonna talk because I get the vibe that this character is a talker. I'm worth keeping alive, Prince. Give me a chance to prove myself. That remains to be seen. I do take notice of your tenacity. See that it doesn't become a burden. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Sophie says, Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well, the prince says. She turns to me. What is your name, child? I'll tell her my name. Muse, Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Muse. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I had anticipated. But with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties. Of course, Prince, he says. He shoots me a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. I will be watched, I will be judged, and if need be, I will be punished. The two of them leave. Well, Muse, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new, fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierge, who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guest glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. The memory of throwing up in the safe house is still fresh in my mind, and the idea that it could happen again is almost enough to reject the drink altogether. But there's no denying that I want it, need it. Sophie says, I remember what Kadir said about your misadventure before getting in the car. Some of us have more delicate palates than others. Try to take a small sip, s'il vous plaît. He pours it into two tall glasses. I can barely wait until he hands me the drink. My attention is fully on it. The fact that it's blood, I'm certain of it. Doesn't faze me this time. It's difficult to take just a sip, even though the taste is as foul as before. I'm tempted to down the whole glass in one go. That's how you do up. I wait before taking a second taste. I'm glad I did. A feeling like heartburn signals that I can't keep it down. I spit it back inside the glass. Sophie looks on, intrigued. I'm not surprised. New York City caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Well, you just need to keep trying. At Sophie's request, the concierge serves me three other variants. The first two are as horrible and indigestible as before, both ending up back in the glass within moments of tasting them. Before the third try, I'm almost ready to throw the glass at the wall in frustration, but finally, this one's different. Instead of mud and decay, a surprisingly rich bouquet of tastes. I feel blissfully at ease, and Sophie takes notice. Ah, there it is. Jacob, would you kindly let us know who the donor was? Leave the bottle, please. The concierge nods and leaves again. I take another sip, and another. I empty the glass. The dull feeling in my stomach and head starts subsiding, but I still want more. Sophie pours me another glass and refills hers. She takes a sip. You have a curiously specific taste, Muse. Is it the clover notes, the traces of caffeine, or that bittersweet aftertaste of melancholy? I taste nothing of the kind, but it doesn't matter. It's tasty, but not as delicious as it was last night, not as intoxicating. It manages to silence the hunger somewhat, though. Drinking blood puts me at ease. It's a strange realization. A man named Jacob comes back with a small card and leaves it with Sophie. She takes a quick look and passes it on to me. It's somebody's medical details. An office worker, male, Caucasian, 32 years old, blood type ABRH plus, or ABRH positive. Blue eyes, brown hair, no history of substance use, New Jersey native. Might be one of those details that makes the difference. Now that we have picked the right bouquet for your palate, these documents should be useful in identifying your exact taste. Should they be ORH positive or Joyzy Boys? But I believe you have more questions, no? Perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. So choices are, how much do I have to drink? Where do you get blood? How will I know what I can drink? I think how will I know what I can drink is kind of an important point. These difficulties of mine, how do I navigate that? How will I know what kind of blood I can drink? I ask. It's a tricky question. I believe you will just have to trust your instinct on this. With time, you'll be able to narrow down your particular preferences. Blood that you reject is, of course, of no value to you, and it's a horrible waste. No amount of it will ever sate your hunger completely, but every little sip counts. If you're frugal or forced by circumstances, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. It will take some time to find the right balance. Tomorrow I shall take you hunting, and we will explore this topic further, but you should be good for now. Questions are, what will you expect of me? You mentioned a beast. What do you mean by hunting? I want to know what's expected of me. So now that I'm working for you, what are my responsibilities going to be like? I ask. It is a bit more complicated than working for me, she says. If I had wished for a servant, there were easier ways to achieve that than risking the prince's chagrin at Elysium. I can see potential in you that would have been wasted if I hadn't spoken up. Not to mention, it would pain me to witness a final death. It always has. That said, I will require that you defer to me in all things. But me being your mentor and superior also means I shall treat you as my loyal retainer and understudy. With me, you can go far. Without me, and proper guidance, you would have become a clear danger to the masquerade. That is why, with your sire gone, the prince wanted you out of the picture too. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. I note that the gallery is now almost empty. I am being told that the gallery is about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on could tip any negotiation towards her favor. Her words are like honey, and she makes it impossible for you to take your eyes off her. You are under her spell momentarily. Sophie leads me to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites me to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the masquerade. As you might have gathered from some of us assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So, to the vast majority of the kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? I shake my head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with the mortals. Alright, so the choices are, what's the risk? Is your driver a vampire too? Wait, what about my career then? So, I'm going to ask about the driver. So, if it's such a secret, then I'm guessing your driver is a vampire too? Oh, dear Gregory here? Oh, no, she says, not a vampire, although he is a loyal servant and as such trusted not to spill our secrets left and right. You will realize with time that such help is welcome. Gregory watches over me during the day hours. Sunburns are kind. That is why we take our rest when it rises. It's more akin to being dead than asleep, as I'm sure you've already experienced. But not everything you've heard about vampires is true. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance, garlic, running water. Even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze us. Well, that's just another reason to have somebody like trusty old Gregory making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with the daylight. Alright, so choices are, do vampires watch each other's backs? So it's good to keep human friends. How can you trust your driver? Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then? Or at least useful? In moderation, she says. And best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends? I haven't had one of those for many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience to be broken at a whim? Yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority. With it comes influence and power, if you wish to reach for them. She seems to be lost in thought and fell silent for a while, leaving me to ponder all the things that I've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever I wouldn't believe on my own, I've already witnessed. Many questions swarm my thoughts, but the one I keep returning to is what my place in this new reality should be. The car stops. We are in the city in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? My own apartment? Is it another parking lot room? No, it's not. Do I get a loyal servant? Probably not yet. So, we're gonna go with my own apartment. I get my own apartment? That's neat, I say. Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs. She leads me through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Ooh, I like this apartment. Inside are all the amenities I could expect from a modern apartment, and some I wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? She asks. I'm not going to be rude, so we're going to choose the top answer, because She just gave me an apartment. This is great. Thank you, I say. I'm glad. Make yourself at home, she says. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves, like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. I inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than my new sire, even if only in that respect. I briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. With nothing left to do, I lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns, Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. I start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before I finally understand what happened to me and what I'm supposed to do now? I keep coming back to the life I left behind, the people I should contact, the things that I want to pick up from my apartment. I wonder when, if I'll have a chance for either. As I start to feel the same tiredness that made me drift off into a cold sleep last night, I settle into the back room. That is comforting. The lack of windows, less so. I leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, I realize it's the closest I'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day ever again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms me. A few minutes later, my consciousness fades. I take the plunge into darkness again, sinking, sinking, sinking. And that is where we're going to end for tonight. So I thank y'all for joining me here. I thank everybody for coming by. And I will see you again. Today is Wednesday. So hopefully either tomorrow or Friday for another episode of Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Have a great night.